Welcome to the baddest YouTube channel in the world. This is Rod OG, live from the OG community. How we doing today, fam? I hope everybody is having a terrific day. And if you aren't, leave something down in the comments. We could talk about it. But you know what we here for. We here for them bangers. And yes, I got another one. But before we get into this video, let's make sure everybody stopping through is hitting that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so these bangers can come straight to you. And for my day one OG community members, let's make sure that we're hitting that like button and hitting that hype button so we can make sure our videos are getting out to the masses and running through the algorithms. Well, without further ado, let's get into this video.
So many lives in the process. You know, why does this continue to happen? Why are these allegations not taken seriously? And I think there's a whole list of different factors that feed into that, not least of which are lawyers who are paid incredible amounts of money.
Y'all see her neck?
We need to have a real overhaul.
Look at her neck.
Not only of policing, of the criminal justice system, but the whole.
They ain't even hiding it no more.
Sexual abuse is
It's just like, go on TV. It's all right. You half done. That's how these reptilians look.
Did this CCTV footage capture a real-life vampire?
I gotta get somebody's phone to Of course. I know, he's gonna freak out. Wait, I don't know. Okay, so I don't understand. You're filming the guy that stole it? No, look, just keep watching. It's crazy. Wait,
Look. OGs. Y'all see this? The dude has no reflection. He has no reflection. This is Draconian vampire. He has no reflection. You see the previous guy, he walked by, he had a reflection. This guy, no reflection. Pay attention. Y'all see this? This is the stuff that I've been trying to bring forth to everybody, to the community, to everybody that want to listen, everybody that want to stop by and see. This is the evidence. These are some of the things that we can look on and make good judgment about what's going on and what's out there. Allegedly.
I know. What? I know. Like, how is that? I don't know. What the? Wait, I know. What? I know. Like, how is that? I don't know. What the?
But also, look how pale his skin is. That's another dead giveaway. He's not even getting real blood flow through his body. That's why his skin is so pale.
Facts about real-world vampires. First and foremost, they absolutely do drink human blood, and they cannot subvert this with animal blood, the only known means being magical in nature. Another fact is that there are multiple subspecies of vampires, some drastically different from others. Some so much so they may even be considered another type of creature. The majority of vampires have no trouble going out in daylight, though they vastly prefer the night. However, those referred to as elders, the rare few that undergo such a transformation, cannot. Similarly, most types of vampires would have no trouble entering your home without permission, and those that do bear this weakness often have means around it. The only known universal aversion, not even really strong enough to call a weakness, is a strong distaste for silver. They will avoid its touch, and weapons cast in this metal seem to have a stronger effect against them. It is also the genesis of the myth that they cast no reflection. This is only true in silver-backed mirrors. The majority of them, however, do also bear weakness to what I call true faith, and this is not specific to Christianity or even Abrahamic religions. It includes people's own personal faith as well as true prayer objects, items that have been used for real prayer for multiple years. This most dramatically affects those referred to as elders. The more social varieties seem to bear a glamour effect that causes people to see them as similar to others they already find attractive and powerful. In the modern age, they would likely seem reminiscent of a celebrity to you. And finally, they themselves come from a previous type of creature or curse. Massive, monstrous, bat-like creatures that predate human civilizations, believed to have been from a tribe of cursed or possessed ogres, Neanderthal-like proto-human monsters.
Yo, what? You see how quick that baby got snatched up underneath that bed? That was quick. He was just like, yo. That's an egg.
So when the Elohim came through the Black Sun portal and we got to this realm, the Draconians were already here. They've been here for a long time, millions of years. They're actually the ancestors to all the dinosaurs that were on the planet. The Elohim have had their share of wars with these reptilians and actually eventually even merged with them, creating the Klingon nations that live on Mars. These reptilian draconian species really don't have no interest going into the fifth dimension because they pretty much rule in the third dimension. That's the Zeta Grays.
That's where we found, for example, people who were 300 years old in the Social Security Administration database. But we don't have any 300-year-old vampires living in America.
Allegedly.
And we don't have people in some cases who are receiving payments who were born in the future.
Born in the future?
Born in the future. The people receiving payments whose birth date was like in 2100 and something.
Okay, so there's
like next century.
They had destroyed 3 planets and slaughtered 50 million humans in the star system Lyra. As a result of that, the humans had to scatter throughout the galaxy, and some of them came here. And they settled on 2 planets. They settled on Maldek, which was the 4th planet in line, and on Mars. Of course, the reptilians roamed the galaxy, and they finally got here to our system. They destroyed Maldek. They stripped Mars of much of its atmosphere, and at that point, the Federation decided to send a race of humans here who were originally from Lyra. They were a fierce human race and very advanced, so the Federation says we're going to send them to Earth to confront the reptilians. And supposedly, that was the first human presence on this planet.
And that had to be around the time of the reset, around 1770. When these race of humans came and they had all this technology. But now this technology is hidden and put up because it was said that we couldn't handle it. It was too much for the previous race. So they don't want to really unleash or allow us to have this similar technology.
Was on Atlantis.
Your cover-up of the Epstein files and your passion for protecting pedophiles and child traffickers, that alone is grounds for impeachment. You revived Draconian
You're
law
talking
of
about public corruption to me?
1798,
Whoa.
which should be repealed to illegally send people to a torture prison in El Salvador.
No way he on TV and his teeth look like that.
Different blood types, stick with me. I'm about to show you why. Before we get started, let me just say this. I might be about to really trigger some people, so if you feel like you want to get real disrespectful, go ahead and scroll now, because I would really dislike if you were in the comments arguing with yourself. Only time people feel they need to argue is when they feel they need to prove themselves. I'm not doing that for anybody. Well, that is, of course, outside of what I'm about to show y'all right now. So before I get y'all the facts, let me make some things make sense to y'all through symbolism. Y'all know how in the music industry there's some rap beefs going on, particularly everybody teaming up against Drake, right? Drake is also associated with Draco. Draco being Draconian, Draconian being a reptilian. Okay, so now keep that in mind. Now think about the dragon that was on the Empire State Building not too long ago. And everybody was like, oh, that was just for a movie promo. Remember, everything is symbolism. Well, let's just say this. In my mind, TikTok, everything is symbolism. For those who don't know, Draco in Latin means dragon. If you've seen any of my previous videos talking about the sun being God, then you are familiar with the concept of the feathered serpent. The feathered serpent is the creator of the monotheistic system, the Atlanteans, Sumerians, and Lumerian, aka the copper-colored people, aka black people, so-called black people. Just hold on, I told y'all I'm gonna make it make sense. Now you have a brotherhood of the Dracos, aka the dragons, and the feathered serpents. In mythology, the serpent represents many different things, but the serpent also represents the copper color race, also referred to as the Naga serpent. You may have heard the Naga people. This is how the derogatory term for black people came about. They changed it from Naga to y'all know the rest. Okay, so with all that being said, with us knowing who wrote the Bible, does it now make sense as to why the serpent was depicted as evil? The serpent represents immortality, aka black don't crack. That's why you always hear that term. Way back in the day, the Anunnaki gods used to walk amongst the ones depicted as the serpents. They began merging DNA. Let me say this. Copper colored people have DEA, deoxyetheric acid. All other races have DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. These molecules in our cells contain genetic information about us. This is where blood types come into play because the Rh negative blood is said to be reptilian blood. Anunnaki gods started interbreeding with the copper color race, aka the feathered serpent people. So in my previous video when I talked about Elohim, aka many gods, this is what I was referring to. You had many Anunnaki gods that were creating different species or different races of people. Hence the reason for different blood types. Now bringing it back to the symbolism, especially in the music industry, this is where the they not like us come into play. They not like us can be interpreted many different ways. It can be interpreted on a scientific level, on an esoteric metaphysical level, or on a physical level. So to bring it full circle, in the Bible when they talked about being created in God's image, they were talking about mankind, a kind of man. Copper colored people are considered sons of God, God's son, because we are the people of the sun. When the Anunnaki merged or interbreeded with the copper colored race and created other races, that is where that Bible verse comes into play. You were created in our image, which means that you have us within you. So to answer everybody's question who's been DMing me and also putting it in my comments, did every race start off as black? No. Does every race have black within them? Yes. So-called black. Yes, because of eugenics. Now that we have all this cleared up, I'm going to go ahead and play a clip by B-Del, who I love listening to. He's going to break down who's really running the show. It's just when you think you know, you have no idea. Because trust me, when I found this out, I was flabbergasted. Before I play this clip though, I think it's important to know, if you haven't watched my Son is God series, I truly urge you to do so. I also have a video breaking down my interpretation of the 144,000 and how that is a frequency. In order to reach that frequency, you have to reach true enlightenment. True enlightenment is the understanding that everything is you and you are everything. It means you are not separate from anything or anyone. Which also means that whatever I just told you about who was created by who, at the end of the day does not matter. For anyone who thinks that it does, that is root chakra energy. I used to be just like that. I think the sooner that people realize that identifying people by their skin color is something that is brand new. That is Western civilization behavior. And it was brought about to keep people divided, so that the entities in the next clip that I'm about to show you can continue pushing forth their agenda. It's just important to give y'all the facts. It's important to know where we come from, to know where we're going. Now let's get into this clip.
Today we're going to be breaking down the complexities of the esoteric infrastructure of the black nobility, who are black faces who hide behind the perception of the European power structure and the matrix system through eugenics programs, economic disenfranchisement, dehumanization, and Eurocentric theology that takes you away from your sovereign capacity as an indigenous person in the geographical landmass of America. So as I told you before, the unseen hand is the hidden hand, and the hidden hand is the black hand, and the black hand is the black nobility, right? So all throughout ancient history, all they did was a bait and switch. They did a bait and switch and gave you the false perception of Europeans being in power when really it's the black nobility who are black faces, right? So right here, you're looking at Charles V was actually a swarthy man, right? So all they did was a reverse of frequency, right? Inverted knowledge. In analogy and microbiology, you would know that you get the recessive from the dominant. You don't get the dominant from the recessive. So that you have to understand that they got their concepts and ideologies of white supremacy from black people who was already on the planet way before them, because they wasn't created until 4086 BC, right? So now we're going to get into some theological context, because all this is basically prophetic, right? Now, when you go to the L's Holy Injil, which is basically a transliteration of the book of Revelation, and you go to Revelation 17:17, right? It says verbatim that the evil reptilian that is going to give their kingdom to the beast. Now, who is the beast, right? The beast is basically the personification of the Canaanite bloodline who was cursed with leprosy, and these are also connected to the Pflugerod bloodline, who have 6 ethergenetical properties that has the same DNA sequence as animals, right? So that's why I said, like, the beast is basically a personification of the cursed bloodline. The evil reptilian is the personification of the black nobility who are connected to the jealous god Enlil, right? The 200 fallen angels.
So as y'all can see, nothing is what it seems. And as B-Del said, everything is inverted, which just means when they tell you it's up, it's really down. So in our mind, we thought that the 13 families were the ones running the show, when in reality it's the black reptilians. So in my previous video where I talked about them walking amongst us every single day, that's absolutely true, because we are them. If you know about duality, you know that there's good and bad in all things. So yes, while you have some negative reptilians, you also have benevolent reptilians. This is why they consider part of your brain the reptilian brain. Reptilian brain controls our instinctive behaviors, such as sex, aggression, and power. 3 very things that we see in our society on a daily basis. As I mentioned to y'all previously, the true way to enlightenment is through love. So whether you're an original being created by Grandmother Aya herself, or if you were created by the Anunnaki gods by the way of eugenics, the true and only vibration is love. So instead of worrying about who created what or who was here first, come to the realization that you will never be free with that mindset. When you really open your eye, you will see we are all fighting the same entities. That within itself should wake you up. Let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Also, let me know if you have any questions. As always, peace, love, and light, and gratitude for watching.
Well, I tell you, that's the first thing that you should look at is their neck. The neck start telling you everything besides the teeth. You look at them neck, you look at them teeth, you start seeing them signs. Because there's no way a woman got an Adam's apple like this.
every book in the libraries, every book in the colleges, every book in the universities, every book on this planet is misinformation. It's misinformation. So, which is initiated by the Draco reptilians as far back as 6,000 years ago.
The reptilians really came into control and started to be able to manipulate what was going on the face of the planet about 6,000 to 7,000 years ago. It is true that they have different masking technologies to be able to be in a room and look like a human, but usually they're in underground bases in various places on the globe, as well as in a huge area in Antarctica. The southeast region has a large number of underground caverns that are kept extremely warm, too warm for humans, by geothermal heat. It's a perfect place for all of these colonies that the reptilians have. They're basically cities, huge cities with millions of them.
So, the Secretary of the Navy selects Rick Abada. He's not even an American. He comes over here with his family. He goes to school here. He goes to the second year in high school. He leaves school. He joins the Navy as a third-class seaman, works his way up in the Navy. Now he's a commander, okay? That commander is selected by the Secretary of the Navy to head up all of these operatives to go back into Germany and find out what's going on. Because that individual had never had misinformation given to him about every technical field on the planet.
Everything we learn in the establishment-controlled education systems is specifically designed to program our minds away from the truth. Physics is wrong. Medicine is wrong. History is wrong. Everything we are taught in textbooks is mainly wrong. And this is done purposefully so we don't understand how to move our bodies, how to feed our bodies, what really happened in the past, what technology can...
Are they interacting with us on their own, or are they doing it through a federation or organization?
The Draconian civilization is a corporate structure. Their entire government, their entire system is a corporate structure. It's a corporate structure. So it's profit motivated, it's backstabby, and you either are making profits and making gains, or, you know, someone might literally stab you in the back at the board meeting and take your job. Like literally stab you.
Now, do you see the human development like on a similar path to any other extraterrestrial society models?
It depends. Depends on what happens over the next 10 years. I mean, we were put on a corporatist path by Draconians. I mean, the corporate model is not our model. It's not a humanoid model. It's a Draconian model. So if I'm going to be quite blunt, the majority of problems that we have comes from the corporatist structure and the mismanagement and abuse of the corporatist structure. Doesn't mean that business is bad. Business can be good. Business can be fair. Business can be just. Business can be clean. Business can be all the good things that it can be, but corporate structures are designed to make them not so. So,
do they have similar challenges like we do in the corporate structure?
I don't know that I'd call it similar challenges. I would say that their structure is even meaner and nastier and more deadly than the one that we have, and that's saying something.
Kids and getting them to the gray suit, in turn give them to the Alpha Draconians?
That's right. That's part of the deal. They won't come up as long as we feed them down there. You understand? It's about human beings selling themselves out.
Shot Jamal on how reptilians can shapeshift.
So these Draconian reptilians understanding this science, this basic metaphysics 101. All right? They just bend the light photon and they're able to change their vibration. So if they raise their vibration, all right, to match the frequency of whatever they want to shift to, so whatever they looked at or focus their retinas on, then they'll be able to shift to that by raising their frequency of their vibration. They don't change at all. These reptilians don't change at all. They're just holding a frequency, a vibration. And they're holding the vibration of whatever being they saw that they want to shift to. So this is how they're able to move amongst you as everyday white people and human beings and shit, but they are not. They're just holding a frequency. And some of them, when they start to lower their vibration, that's how people didn't catch them on camera shifting sometimes. Or catch their eyes slitting and flipping because it's just a vibration. It's an image. Understand, this is just matter. This shit is matter. That's why it's mind over matter. You alter this shit with your thoughts. You control this shit with your thoughts. That's why it's mind over matter. What is matter? Got 4 phases. Plasma energy being the highest. Gases, liquids, solids being the lowest. Aren't you solid? Isn't this solid? Yes. So the slowest vibration, the slowest form of matter is a solid. Why is it the lowest form of matter? Because it's vibrating the slowest in our blood. When I found out that every motherfucking missing person, I thought they just go, motherfuckers really go missing. But when I found out that nobody ever went missing and every single missing person ever was really them kidnapping them, killing them and eating them. When I found out that, well, remembered rather, because we already know this. When I remembered that, do you know that we, like I said, none of your, nobody that died that you ever buried, they not in that, they not in the ground. They're not in the ground at all. You can go dig that shit up yourself. I got $1,000 for you. You dig it up right now. I guarantee you it ain't no bones in that bitch. I guarantee you ain't gonna see no bones in that bitch. It should at least be some bones in there still, right? If their body was down there, right? What you gonna say? All the bones got ate by the worms, nigga? Nigga, it ain't gonna be a box in there, nigga. It ain't gonna be a box in there, nigga. I bet you ain't even a casket in there. A box. None of that. See, when I found that out,
Draconian vampires talking about their evolution on planet Earth.
Aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do. The babies we eat, the food we eat, the wars we fight. We are.
Thank you guys for sticking with me through another banger here at Ride OG. But you already know how I go. Until the next video, peace and love.